The jury trial for Sean Puffy Combs has started and things are not looking good.
Two legends of hip-hop, JayZ and Diddy, sharing decades of influence, stages, and empire building. Their bond was seen as unbreakable. That party footage showed smiles and champagne, but the loyalty was already cracking. Behind the scenes, betrayal had already set in. JayZ and Diddy weren't just collaborators, they symbolized a generation of music dominance. JayZ appeared on Diddy's debut album, No Way Out, and the two were regular fixtures at industry events. Yet now their brotherhood stands exposed, collapsed under the weight of secrets long buried and truths now unearthed in federal court. What seemed like unity has been revealed as carefully curated performance, and one lawsuit ignited the unraveling.
In order to prove racketeering, the prosecution is going to have to show that Mr. Combs and others conspired together to further illegal acts.
Remember when having both of them at your event signaled you'd officially arrived? Those were simpler times. But behind the glamour, things were unraveling fast. While the public celebrated this powerful friendship, behind the scenes, Diddy was allegedly orchestrating something far darker, an operation that some compared to organized crime. And JayZ, that's where the narrative turns explosive. The first visible cracks appeared when Cassie Ventura filed a groundbreaking lawsuit in November 2023. That legal filing changed everything. While others remained silent, Cassie stepped forward, revealing disturbing claims that disrupted the industry's silence. Her 35-page lawsuit outlined a decade of alleged abuse, detailing acts of violence and forced participation in events Diddy reportedly referred to as freak-offs. These weren't just private parties. They were described as drug-fueled gatherings involving male escorts, allegedly recorded for blackmail purposes.
Cassie says they used 10 big bottles of baby oil per freak-off, blood and urine all over the walls, and some of the escorts they hired were allegedly from Craigslist.
These revelations cast a new light on what was once seen as elite exclusivity. What seemed like entertainment royalty now faces serious questions about control, power, and accountability behind the scenes. And completely illegal. What happened next was stunning. The lawsuit was settled within 24 hours for $20 million. That kind of payout that quickly signals something serious. Diddy didn't hesitate. He knew exactly what was at stake and acted fast to keep it contained. But truth doesn't stay buried. Cassie's lawsuit opened the floodgates. Over 70 additional civil cases followed, each revealing new, disturbing details. What started as one case turned into a legal avalanche. Allegations surfaced of gang assaults, coercion, and inappropriate conduct dating back decades. One case involved a 17-year-old victim in 2003. Another, filed by producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, accused Diddy of forcing him into disturbing situations, and it didn't stop there. Attorney Tony Busby stepped in, now representing more than 120 accusers. Among them, a 9-year-old child, highlighting the disturbing scope of the claims. Through it all, the question remained, where was JayZ during the unraveling of Diddy's empire? That's when the focus started to shift. With the spotlight widening, JayZ was pulled into a storm that would put their long-standing alliance to the ultimate test.
As a reminder, Diddy is charged with very serious stuff, including coercing women into what he called freak-offs. Prosecutors have called them days-long coerced sexual performance.
Then came the civil lawsuit that shook both moguls to the core. In October 2024, a woman identified as Jane Doe amended her suit, naming JayZ alongside Diddy. The allegations were chilling, accusing them of inappropriate conduct with a 13-year-old girl after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. According to her claims, she was outside Radio City Music Hall when a limousine driver, allegedly working for Diddy, invited her to an after-party. Once there, she was reportedly given a drink that made her feel disoriented. She alleged that both Diddy and JayZ assaulted her, while an unnamed female celebrity watched. JayZ wasted no time responding. He denied the accusations entirely, calling them idiotic and heinous. He also accused the plaintiff's attorney, Tony Busby, of a blackmail scheme. His statement made it clear he would not settle, insisting that if the claims were genuine, they should be addressed criminally, not through a civil case.
They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large-capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims.
However, as the case developed, inconsistencies surfaced. One involved her claim of speaking to a well-known celebrity at the event, yet that individual's representative confirmed the artist was on tour that night. Even the plaintiff's father questioned key details in her account during a statement to NBC News. This development escalated the already volatile situation, turning attention to the credibility of the claims while the legal battle intensified. The accuser's father couldn't recall driving 5 hours to retrieve her, contradicting her claim. Pressed by NBC in a December 2024 interview, she admitted to some errors in memory but maintained the assault happened. Then came the twist. On February 14, 2025, the accuser voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice, making it permanently closed. No explanation was given, but Roc Nation quickly declared the dismissal a win, calling the allegations frivolous and appalling. Still, the pressing question remains. If JayZ was cleared, why is his name still surfacing in Diddy's federal trial? What's in that courtroom audio involving him? And how did 2 longtime collaborators end up on opposite sides of one of the most explosive celebrity cases in history?
Those Bearcats and law enforcement, and on the other side of those bushes basically is that home that is registered to Bad Boy Films, which is part of Bad Boy Entertainment.
When Diddy's federal trial began on May 5th, 2025, few expected it to turn into a courtroom drama filled with secrets and revelations. But this wasn't entertainment. It was a legal reckoning. The layers peeled back in that Manhattan courtroom exposed years of deception and behavior shielded by power and wealth. At the center of it all stood Cassie Ventura. Her testimony didn't just inform, it shook the room. She offered unfiltered, powerful testimony that punctured the carefully crafted image surrounding Diddy, giving voice to years of silence and ushering in a turning point in the trial. This reflects classic victim-blaming tactics. Private messages between an alleged abuser and the victim are now being used to claim consent, but survivors often comply in order to survive. It's like saying someone enjoyed being robbed because they handed over their wallet. That flawed logic is now being challenged in court. This is the sound of accountability finally landing where it belongs.
Now things are getting pretty emotional for Cassie Ventura on the stand as she recalls for the jury participating in these sometimes days-long freak-offs, sexual escapades organized by Sean Combs.
Cassie knew the weight of her lawsuit. She filed it to confront someone powerful, fully aware of the risks and sacrifices. But she acted decisively, not for attention, but to stop a cycle and protect others from facing the same fate. Still, she wasn't alone in speaking out. One testimony revealed just how coordinated and disturbing these alleged acts were. The court documents refer to this person as the Punisher, and their statements shook the room. Here's where it gets wild. This individual testified that Diddy gave specific instructions to move cameras during certain sessions. Yet he also claimed he never saw anything being filmed. That contradiction is impossible to ignore. It's like saying someone told you to blast music when there wasn't any music playing. It just doesn't line up. This kind of contradiction often comes from someone trying to protect themselves while still revealing some degree of the truth. It's a defense mechanism, but in court, it only adds fuel to the allegations that a much bigger operation was being concealed. He observed Cassie sighing and wincing, clear signs of visible distress. Yet during cross-examination, he reversed course, claiming she wasn't uncomfortable. That's like witnessing someone cry and then insisting they were full of joy. The contradiction underlines an attempt to dilute serious allegations. His testimony went further. exposing a calculated structure behind the alleged abuse. These weren't random events. There were routines, appearance requirements, and designated times. It was systematic. Cassie reportedly looking at Diddy during these sessions revealed a deeper power imbalance. That detail alone challenged any claim of mutual participation. This wasn't the behavior of someone involved in consensual acts. It resembled the actions of someone orchestrating control, treating others as props in a personal performance, throwing money as if commanding a private spectacle. It's disturbing, dehumanizing, and chilling to hear. Cassie reportedly referred to them as special sessions, a euphemism likely shaped by survival instinct. That's similar to calling an attack a misunderstanding. It doesn't lessen the harm or the trauma behind it. Then came testimony from Dawn Richard, formerly of Danity Kane. She described witnessing Diddy attempt to strike Cassie with a skillet in 2009. The reported reason? Cassie had taken too long to prepare dinner. When she fell, Diddy allegedly kicked and punched her on the floor. It wasn't just a single outburst. It was evidence pointing toward a deeply rooted pattern of violence. That's the equivalent of witnessing someone endure violence and carrying that burden for years. Dawn Richards' testimony extended beyond a single incident. She recalled Combs allegedly punching Cassie in the face at his New York residence, and another time in Los Angeles, where he allegedly struck her in the stomach at a restaurant. Acts that reportedly caused visible distress. Even more alarming, when Richard advised Ventura to leave the relationship, Combs allegedly threatened her, stating, "You're going to disappear if you keep talking like that." The threat carried the weight of mob-style intimidation. That's when other high-profile names entered the narrative. Dawn testified that artists like Usher and Nayo, along with executive Jimmy Iovine, were present during the 2010 West Hollywood incident, yet reportedly did nothing while witnessing the abuse. It paints a troubling picture of silence in the face of violence. Next came David James, Diddy's former assistant, whose testimony described in detail the operations behind the scenes. He allegedly arranged hotel spaces for so-called freak-offs, delivered items such as baby oil and lubricant, and disclosed Combs' possession of a medicine bag containing illegal substances. Sometimes, James claimed those were acquired under his own name. James also described an incident from 2008 when Combs allegedly reacted to seeing Suge Knight at a diner by arming himself with 3 firearms. James, fearing for his safety, submitted his 6-month resignation notice after the event. Then came testimony from Regina Ventura, Cassie's mother, whose statements carried the emotional gravity of someone witnessing long-term harm. Her account added further weight to the claims, exposing not only patterns of abuse, but also the impact across generations of family. Regina Ventura testified that she was financially blackmailed by Combs, forced to take a $20,000 home equity loan in December 2011 to reimburse him for money spent on Cassie. The demand reportedly stemmed from Combs' anger over Cassie's relationship with rapper Kid Cudi. That's financial coercion rooted in control and retaliation. Regina also received emails from Cassie describing threats by Combs to release explicit videos and cause harm to both her and Kid Cudi. After Christmas 2011, Regina documented bruises on Cassie's body, photographs of which were submitted as evidence reinforcing allegations of physical abuse. What followed next drew even more attention. Several celebrities were named during the proceedings, not in passing but with significance. Michael B. Jordan was mentioned due to his 2015 relationship with Cassie, which allegedly triggered Diddy's jealousy. Britney Spears surfaced in connection to Cassie's 21st birthday in 2007, reportedly the beginning of Cassie's relationship with Combs. Kanye West also entered the narrative after allegations that Diddy threatened him in 2009 over interactions with Ventura. However, the central focus continues to revolve around Combs' former ally, JayZ. While there is no confirmed courtroom audio featuring JayZ during Combs' emotional breakdown, his name remains heavily associated with the unraveling of this alleged criminal operation. raising further questions about just how wide the net reaches. The internet has erupted over this case, and the trolling has been intense. Leading the charge is Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, who's turned ridiculing both Diddy and JayZ into an art form. From AI-generated arrest clips to a milk carton meme featuring JayZ's face, 50 has used Instagram to imply Jay is avoiding Diddy and stir public reaction. His posts are relentless, calculated, and razor sharp, like when he asked, "Anybody seen Jay?" or captioned, "Friends till the end, Jay, you still there?" Beyond social media, the courtroom has become the real theater. Prosecutors presented explicit video evidence of so-called freak-offs, though sealed from public access. Still, the jury saw 2016 hotel footage where Combs was seen physically assaulting Ventura, offering irrefutable visuals of the abuse. Testimony has also highlighted how deeply structured this alleged criminal network was. Federal agent Gerard Gannon detailed the weapons and illegal substances seized from Combs' mansion. George Kaplan, a former assistant, described Combs' volatile behavior and threats against staff. What once was a throne of musical prestige is now the site of federal scrutiny. The fall from hip-hop royalty to central figure in a criminal trial marks a seismic shift, shaking the very foundation of celebrity power and accountability. This saga has reached a turning point, where a once dominant figure in hip-hop is facing accountability from those he believed would remain silent forever. Watching Sean Combs' empire collapse has been like watching the Titanic sink, only this time, the iceberg wasn't the villain, it was the victim all along. Combs' transformation from celebrated mogul to federal defendant didn't happen overnight. It began the moment Cassie Ventura made the courageous decision to file a lawsuit, igniting a chain reaction that unraveled decades of alleged abuse and control. Since then, the revelations have shown what happens when long-buried truth finally demands justice. What's particularly revealing is the defense's attempt to label Cassie an opportunist. She testified she would return the entire $20 million settlement if it meant erasing the trauma. That statement speaks volumes. It's not about money, it's about reclaiming dignity after enduring profound emotional damage. The defense is also trying to recast Combs' control as professional guidance, but there's a vast difference between helpful input and calculated dominance. Styling suggestions are not the same as using appearance to control and manipulate someone's identity and freedom. This trial is more than just a legal battle. It's a mirror reflecting how power, silence, and control can be weaponized for years without consequence. But now, that era may finally be ending, and the industry is being forced to reckon with it. Calling abuse helpful because it involved isolation from friends and family is a dangerous deflection. The evidence against Sean Combs isn't just substantial, it's damning. This isn't about conflicting testimonies anymore. It's about video footage, specifically the 2016 hotel surveillance video CNN released showing Combs assaulting Cassie in a hallway. After that footage went public, Combs issued a public apology, calling his behavior inexcusable and citing therapy and rehab. But apologizing after being caught doesn't erase legal consequences. It's a classic case of trying to manage optics in the face of federal scrutiny. Now let's return to JayZ, because this part of the story is just as complicated. Although the civil lawsuit implicating him was dismissed in February 2025, the fallout remained. His long-standing image of being untouchable has been rattled, and defending against these allegations left a lasting mark. The public has responded with unrelenting criticism. No one has been more aggressive than 50 Cent, who continues to mock both Combs and JayZ across social media. From milk cartons with JayZ's face to AI-generated arrest videos, each post turns the pressure up and the spectacle louder. For a figure whose public image was meticulously maintained, the unraveling of control marks a major turning point. No longer able to shape public opinion through interviews, media appearances, or curated posts, Diddy now faces a narrative driven by court testimony and hard evidence. The financial fallout is equally devastating. Beyond lost endorsements and stalled ventures, mounting legal fees and potential civil settlements could severely impact the wealth built over decades. Regardless of the trial's outcome, the damage to reputation and finances is already evident. Culturally, there's now a deeper reassessment of Diddy's influence. Moments once portrayed as harmless, party scenes, interviews, media clips are being re-examined. The same footage that once entertained is now seen through a more critical, even disturbing lens. This shift shows how rapidly public perception can change when allegations of serious misconduct surface. Questions are also being raised about complicity. Who within the industry knew? Were there mechanisms that allowed misconduct to go unchecked? These are questions the entertainment world may have to confront for years. The legacy being rewritten isn't just Diddy's, it's the culture surrounding him. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns. Tap one of the videos on your screen to keep exploring the story.